All right, well, it's time to go back in the time machine, Carmen. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Hold my hand. We'll make the jump. Whoa, Carmen, we're back. We're back in New Jersey, where little Carmen is in the 4th grade, praying, God, please make me a girl. What was growing up like for little Carmen?
Well, you know, I was good at playing the, like, I guess, I'm a straight guy, like, game. You know, I was like, I remember growing up wanting to just be like all the other guys at school, look like all the other guys at school, but I was hanging out with all the girls. You know, I remember, but I was super quiet. I was just a quiet kid.
So you're doing straight guy drag. It was your
straight
earliest
guy drag, yes.
Your earliest drag experience in straight man drag.
Straight man drag, and it was the like barbershop kind of Latino.
Oh yeah.
Kind of vibe, because that was who I was attracted to. So
Sure.
I'm like, all right, let me become
your
who I'm
baseball
attracted
cap,
to.
your baseball shirt with no shirt
backwards
underneath.
cap, the line up over here.
Ooh, the lineup.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
And the oversized tee with the baggy shorts and the Jordan sneakers and you know the belt with the long you know what's it called, like the I don't know what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. The long you know the belt with yes.
Oh, of course, right.
Yes. And that was my thing, and that was like my veil.
A lot of that time you felt like you were hiding so much that you didn't really get to grow up.
Exactly. I didn't get to interact. I didn't get to really develop like those people skills, you know, that you learn in high school. Until I turned 18, and that summer I was out. I went to the Village. I met my best friend James, who's with me right now.
All right.
Yeah, and like we took over the whole nightclub scene in New York City. It was the Carrera family, and
really?
It was Carmen Carrera, Angela Carrera, Tia Carrera, Natalie Carrera. We had a whole family.
I love it.
Yeah, we would just do Diva Search. You know, we would do the amateur shows in DC and in DC, Hartford, Boston, New York, New Jersey, and we would just go in and storm it, slay it. Like that's what we would, you know, go get our coins, and that was it. That was pretty much my life until I got married.
What was that first drag show like? Now you used to take pictures for drag shows, right?
I went to college for photography, and at the time I was going to Esquilita nightclub, and I did.
Yes, honey, Esquilita,
yes, girl. And I was not trying to pay that $20 cover, girl.
Never.
So I said, let me take some pictures, and that will get me into the club for free.
Oh, that's a good tip.
So you know, and then I would get paid at the end of the night. It's the gas money home.
Yeah.
Have a great time, you know. And that's what I did. I kind of finessed my way, and I met a lot of the queens backstage. I got to photograph them, and I was obsessed with the drag show. I thought it was the most beautiful thing in the entire world. I mean, me and my friends would just like die to like go watch our favorite performers, see what the production was. Like they would put on an amazing show. Angel Sheridan was the host. They had like the Follies,
Larissa Dumont and all the rest.
Larissa Dumont, Lorena St. Cartier, Victoria Lace, like all of these girls, you know, essentially like raised me, because I that's where I started to develop like my confidence to be on stage and to, you know, and it was almost like, how dare you be like a boy with pasties, you know, like that was sort of my thing. Like I was super feminine. My body has always been the way it is kind of now. And they loved that stuff back then. And that's how I really developed, I guess, my love for all things feminine. You know, I was able to tap into that and be real with myself. And you have to stop running. You can't go to the gay club and still like be running from who you are, because it's like one thing that I love about gay men is that they know who they are and they can spot someone who's on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I met some of the most amazing, fascinating people during that period of time.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure you're following Hey Qween on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/HeyQueenTV for 3 exclusive podcasts every week. Girl, you got on the biggest drag show in the world.
Yes.
Season 3, and that was kind of the breakout season for the show.
Yeah, I feel like that was like the heart. You know, like we had a lot of heart our season, I feel. Everyone was very sincere, very genuine. We were a little playful, but more than anything, like we all had a lot of hope, I think. And I think the audience sort of felt that. Like, I think it was, you know, it was still in the beginning season, so it was rather innovative at the time, like just the type of drag that was on the show. And yeah, I think a lot of people tell me like, oh, you know, season 3 was when I first started, you know, but for me, I think season 2 was like a really big game changer because they got the new runway. That's when I was like, boom, I need to be on this show because
Really?
look
Was
at
that
that runway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't in her garage no more.
You know, season 1 of every show is always kind of like that. You know, and I was
Right.
curious to see what she would do for
around
season
here.
2.
Yes. We know it. We don't like to look back at season 1 around here.
So true.
Now, did you audition right after you saw season 2? You sent in a tape, or had you auditioned already?
I did. Well, Sahara Davenport, she recommended me. And they reached out and they said,
Oh.
hey, yeah, they were like, hey, listen, you know, Sahara Davenport said, you know, you're very highly recommended. You know, we'd love to see, you know, submit a tape. And I literally waited till the last day, the day before, because I was so scared shit, because I knew I wanted to transition. And to be honest with you, a lot of trans people, especially the ones that I was around at the time, completely, I shouldn't even say a lot of trans people. The trans people that I was around at the time completely deny their male identity, you know? So they were sort of telling me like, girl, like, are you sure you want to go on Drag Race? Because once you transition, people will always be able to go back and say, look, that's
Right.
really who she is. That's really, you know, who you're sleeping with is that guy, you know?
Right.
And for me, I was just like, fuck that. Like, I want to celebrate myself, you know? Like, I want to be proud of myself. Each and every chapter of my life, I want to go back to Drag Race, watch myself, and still love myself. I don't want to be there like cringing, like, oh my God, I was a boy back then. Like, no, you know, I'm proud of that. So that's when I decided to do it, and it was the day before. And we filmed it at this like nightclub. They had like a pageant going on or something, and I remember like stopping traffic and like just getting in front of cars and just not caring, because I wanted to make sure that Ru knew that I had the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to be on the show. You know, like. And yeah, it worked out. Like, they called me and I quit my job at Mac. I left, well, I had already just finished school, and I was starting to do freelance work. I was doing actually celebrity photography, and I would go to like the red carpets in New York, and I would take pictures of celebs and stuff, and then I would, you know, they would put it on like kind of like a Getty Images kind of thing. Yeah. And I quit that, and I left my position at Mac. And I went on the show. Yeah, my life changed after that.
You only had 4 days to get ready, is
4
that right?
days, no, 3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
Can you imagine them giving them 3 days now?
Yeah,
People would lose their mind.
They said you have 3 days and you have up to eight bags of luggage to take, and that was it.
And what did you do?
Girl, I called every drag
yeah.
queen I knew in my area, okay?
Yeah.
I was like, listen, I need your wig. Okay, I need that wig. I need that dress. I need this thing. You know, I called my friend Harmonica Sunbeam.
Harmonica Sunbeam?
Yes.
I love
She
her.
gave me some of her dresses. Actually, the one that I lip synced against Yara, that's Harmonica Sunbeam's like whole entire look. Yeah, I called all my friends up. I got, you know, Empress Vizcaya. She gave me one of her wigs. I remember I like took someone's tits. Lorena St. Cartier's boobs. I needed them because she had the good ones. They weren't the regular chicken cutlets. They were like the full breast chicken
Yes,
cutlet.
you need a full one.
And they're expensive. They're like $400. I didn't have money at the time, so I was like, okay, I need those. And yeah, I just pulled it all together, and they kind of send you like a little list of a few of the requirements. Like if they say, oh, we have this theme or that theme,
Right.
you know, it's sort of vague, but at least they give you some help. And yeah, that's it. Got my stuff together, and I left.
So you walk into this situation, you walk into that first
Yes.
room. What's your first impression?
Bitch, when I got there, I walked in and I was like, holy shit, I'm here. And it looks way bigger, you know, it was like way bigger than I thought, than it looks on TV. And yeah, it was just magic. I felt like, wow, like this is the beginning of the rest of my life.
Just like the song says.
Yes. I was sent home by Raja and by Shangela, which are like the two like biggest names,
Totally.
you know, in the history of Drag Race. So I'm good with that. No hard feelings. I was happy. I was like, okay.
The show is filmed and then it comes out. So that's a big, and you knew already before the show that you wanted to transition.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you at mentally in what you, like, I know I have this coming out.
Mm-hmm.
How am I gonna navigate that? Like, what was going through your head at that time?
I was just, honestly, I was just going with the flow. Like whatever came, you know. I was sort of like, you get scatterbrain, you know, like when you you first become, you know, in the public eye, and then you're favored, and then you're judged. You know, you sort of like have to learn how to swim and navigate through all that garbage to get to hit your goal, you know? So I was only focused on, you know, not only was I balancing the fact that my entire identity was being transitioned, but I was also dealing with understanding my own insecurities and why I had certain triggers with the way that I was being judged. I also was dealing with a lot of things at home. You know, me and my husband at the time were not doing well. And then, you know, the kids were just, you know, there all the time. So I was focused on being a good stepmom. I would transition with the kids.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, like you know, my ex-husband, like we were married before my transition, and the kids knew me before my transition, and then I transitioned, you know, to be stepmommy, you know, and they embraced me that way, and then I felt a certain responsibility to them. And at the same time, I was away from home. I was transitioning away from my family. They didn't even get a chance to see me. You know, the last time they saw me, I was a makeup artist for MAC, and then the next time they saw me, I was like full woman, you know, so I had to deal with that.
Right away,
yeah, so there was a lot of things going on, and also maintaining my social media, and just, it was just a lot of growth, to be honest with you. Forced a little bit, but that's just how my life turned out.
And you feel like you had to just step up to a lot of challenges?
Yes, I needed to step up. I needed to keep my brain clear. I needed to just keep going and keep pushing. Even though you know, there were a lot of times that I felt like maybe I was not worthy, or, you know, I questioned a lot of my own self-worth because of all the resistance I was dealing with. It wasn't, nobody rolled out the red carpet for me, you know, as far as the modeling goes. And I was seeing how like Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid were having it so easy, you know, like they came off of a reality show and they went boom, right into modeling, and they were taken care of, you know, like all the designers wanted them. And for me, it was just like, I knew I was good enough, but it was like I was just being denied just for who I was. So that was really hard to deal with when you have the pressure coming from the Drag Race fans who want you to succeed overnight, you know, or pull it out of your hat as if it's your responsibility to become more famous or to become more successful. It's like, it's not up to me, you know, so it was a lot, but I think that it really pushed me into being the strong woman that I am today. And if I didn't experience that, I think that I would have just been a different person.
Hello, children. To see part 3 of this interview, click here. To see more Hey Qween fabulousness, click here. And don't forget to subscribe, bitch! Hey! Hey! Hey!